Alright, Masacre is an insane champion. He is just so good. His damage output is phenomenal. It's one of the best in like Battlegrounds, which is amazing because Battlegrounds is very important, right? And Battlegrounds is currently like off season right now, so I can't show you gameplay there, but I can show you this quick demonstration here with this Venom the Duck. And you're going to see that the damage output is just crazy. The time is even crazier because, yeah, this man is fast. He is a very fast champion. That's where his like value pretty much stands because he is a strong and very easy to access damage dealer. So watch this. We go in, we drop the SP2 now, and this damage output is just silly, man. And that was about, what, 33 seconds? Just insanely fast, right? Because that was about 200,000 health with my rank 3 Masacre. So yeah, now we have this bleed lane here, and Masacre, he is a very like known damage dealer, but he does offer some other things as well. He also has access to bleed, which for most skill lanes is perfect because most skill lanes want like bleeds, right? He's an incinerate damage dealer, so like he's not really known to be good for the skill lanes, but he does have access to some things that make him good for it. For example, right here, this bleed, and like we just get one bleed stat going, and his bleeds last a very long time. I think they're about 20 seconds long, which is crazy, man. Like most bleeds last about like 6 to 10 seconds, but no, his about 20 seconds per stack, which is crazy good. And here I go for the incinerate stacking rotation. And with Masacre, there's about 2 rotations I think are most notable. One is just his straight up SP2 rotation. The other one is his SP1 incinerate stacking rotation. Now the latter is pretty like hard to pull off for the most part, but when you get it down, it's insane. Like earlier I posted my 5-star Masacre taking down 3 million health in about 3 minutes thanks to that one rotation. It is a crazy time, right? But it's hard to pull off, and I think overall the best one to do in like regular fights is just the SP2 rotation. So yeah, it's a really crazy time though. It's like a really crazy time when you get like that other rotation like to work, because yeah, it does take a lot of not really luck, because you can like play to where you can make sure the AI does throw the special attack, but if the AI just doesn't play ball, it does get a bit, you know, stressful, right? But yeah, here we have the regular rotation though. This regular rotation is pretty straightforward, and the damage output is really solid as well for it. So yeah, like no matter what, Masacre always has good damage. His incinerates just do massive damage output. The SP2 is the moneymaker for sure. It just does so much damage there as well. Like this man just has damage everywhere, and that's why he's so good, because he can just do damage in a bunch of different ways. Now we have this America Chavez matchup, and this really just shows how diverse Masacre is, because this guy can just take so many different fights. He can take the hardest defenders out there. He can just take whatever he wants, because the way he works is his damage output is just so easy to access, and it just is really hard to stop because he does a lot of damage on the block. And most champions can't really counter that. They just counter different things. So with Masacre here, he just does his damage output and he just doesn't care. He counters like so many different champions because of like his ability to just shred the block. For example, Hulkling, he can take with ease. A lot of different champions he can just take with ease, because this man just, like, he can't be countered that well, is what I'm trying to say. He just cannot be countered that well. And that's why he's so good in like Battlegrounds, because he can just take whatever's thrown to him pretty much. But yeah, this guy is just a monster. He's so good. I love Masacre so much. A very fun champion. And like pre-buff as well, he was still very good. I think he was still very solid. But the buff really just made people realize how good this champion is exactly. And myself included, I thought he was good, but I never really gave him a chance. But now that he is buffed, and now that he is just insane, well, now that he's buffed, he was buffed for like what, 3 years now, but it doesn't matter. Just a crazy champion, and still an old gem, to be honest. Like, he was buffed and people were like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but they still just didn't play him as much. But when Battlegrounds came out, oh my gosh, that's when like the floodgates were open. Like, he was just talked about so much after Battlegrounds came out, and I think it's well deserved. I feel like this guy has been underrated for such a long time, and now that he finally isn't, and he's just like, you know, this recognized god tier champion, I think it's just a really nice time, right? Now we have this safeguard lane, or no, we have this rage lane, right? And this will show you just how good his incinerates are when they stack up a ton. But like I said, it is a bit stressful at times. It does take a lot of cooperation with the AI, but if the AI does cooperate, then yeah, it is a ton of damage output, and it's just so much fun as well. And yeah, Masacre, just so much fun to play. And I love characters that are both really overpowered and like really fun as well. Like if you're overpowered and boring, then I'm not going to play you. If you're very fun and not too good, I'll still play you. But if you're both really good and really fun, then you are just the perfect champion, right? And that's why I love Masacre so much, because he's so much fun to play as well. Like his animations are top tier, obviously. Like the flaming bat, like the swords, it is just all so good. And yeah, the fight is now pretty much over now. Sweet, man. Like that was like a minute. Just so sweet. Now we have the Shang-Chi here, same stuff, and Masacre just does it so well. The thing is, with like this rotation, if the opponent has like a long SP1, for example, like Hulkling or something, then yeah, you can't really use it. But if they don't, if they have like a short SP1, then you are just chilling. Or like the SP2 even, like if it's a short SP2 also, then yeah, you're also fine. But to be honest, like what SP2s are short? I really don't know. I guess Star-Lord's is kind of, but besides Star-Lord and like a couple others, they're all pretty dang long, right? I feel like they all have like that one delay or just a bunch of different hits. But anyway, this fight is going pretty well. We have like what, 19 now, which is perfect. It does take a bit to get going though, but once it gets going, it is just some insane damage output. And like my 5-star Masacre with I think 99 Incinerates was doing about 13,000 per tick, which is just crazy damage output, man. So I imagine like the 6-star rank 5 would just be doing some crazy numbers too. And yeah, the fight is pretty much over now. We have like what, 26 stacked up, 29. And yeah, the fight is just done in about a minute and 3 seconds. So he's really fast, he's really fun, and his damage output is just pretty crazy. Very easy to access as well. And that's why he's such a good champion, because the damage output being easy to access just really makes the champion. And yeah, I don't know where I would put him exactly in the skill list. I know people used to compare him and Valkyrie a ton because, you know, both have the block, so yeah, they are going to be compared, obviously. But I think Valkyrie offers more utility, and Masacre offers, I think, a little bit more damage output, like in those burst scenarios. I don't know exactly, though. I feel like they both have somewhat similar damage output. Both, in my opinion, are very different champions. You know, that's what I want to, like, preface this with. Both are very different overall. Masacre has Incinerates and, you know, can carry himself in, like, a long fight damage situation with the Incinerates. And Valkyrie is more oriented towards like the Battlegrounds type of health pools, or like, you know, slightly above that, but she just has a ton of utility as well. And while Massacre also has utility, he doesn't have too much utility, right? So like I feel like they both have their differences, and I feel like they're both pretty much not really, I wouldn't say they're equal power level. I think Valkyrie does have a bit more going on for her, but I feel like they are pretty dang close in power, right? So yeah, like if you're compared to Valkyrie, you know you're a good champion, because Valkyrie is like a certified top 5 skill character. And yeah, if you're like compared to her, then you know that you're a great champion overall. Of course, Masacre does lack like, you know, a ton of utility, but he still does have some things that you can do. And, you know, just having that damage output is kind of utility, right? And having access to like the Incinerate, to the massive block damage as well. Like he is a good champion. And here we have this invade lane, and with invade, he doesn't really work as good as you think he would, because he does have access to the block penetration, right? But it doesn't get increased at all because it's already like increased by a ton. So it just doesn't do as much as you would think, which kind of stinks, but you know what? It is what it is. He's still doing a ton of damage though, like to be fair. So yeah, doesn't really matter, to be honest. Then we go in, we drop the SP2 here, and the fight is just about over. A very nice fight here. And yeah, just a very strong champion for like invade, but only because he is literally just a node into a champion. It's just, you know, he was made for it pretty much. But he also does this pretty well. This is the do you bleed lane here, and do you bleed, you have to either do bleed damage or hit their block. And Masacre, he prefers option 2, right? Because he does have access to bleed, but the bleed isn't all that, but his block damage is all that, you know? So yeah, like watch this. We go in, we drop a combo. We need to be careful though with the Incinerate stacks, because there is redouble determination, which is not fun at all. But then watch this. We go in, we drop the SP2 here, and yeah, some very nice damage output. And the fight is looking pretty good so far for us, right? And we can just go back in, drop some more blocked hits. And by the way, with Masacre, your blocked hits help build power and ignite it, which is pretty dang sweet, because it makes him a very fast damage dealer, because he just ramps up really quickly power-wise, right? And yeah, we go back in, we drop another SP2, and the fight is just over now. In a pretty good amount of time as well. Like, he takes duty bleed pretty dang well, and this just goes to show how strong his block damage is, because it just lets him take a ton of different things, right? And yeah, Masacre, very solid champion. I feel like he's still probably like near the top of the skill class. I feel like he is at his peak for sure. Just a fantastic champion overall. And can't believe he's like from 2018, because he's still just this good. And it's just crazy to think about, right? And yeah, let me know your thoughts on Masacre. Like I said, I feel like he's still very, very solid overall. And yeah, that's about it for me.